Hey, Internet.
Hi, Internet. How are you?
Welcome to episode 145 of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain why they're dumb for caring. Very slow news week this week, so we had to fill the air. We are joined by two very special guests. Brandee, who is a longtime friend of the pod and has been on the pod. Wait, has Candice been on the pod before?
No, this is
Candice,
the first time Candice has done any pod.
Okay, Candice, welcome to the podcast.
She's popping her cherry with us.
I did.
You made
what?
It weird.
The best podcast to choose to do this too.
I'm gonna leave. Okay.
It's the most famous podcast ever.
In my universe, you're right.
That's the only universe that matters. So I know, Brandee, you're a vet. Candice, you're new here, but do you both want to give I don't know, an intro? Why should people give a shit about your opinions? Go.
Well, they probably. I was just gonna say they absolutely should not. Especially when we're like together.
Yeah, it's a bad call.
Okay. Good.
Good luck, Internet. I don't know.
I especially appreciate that, like, both Dale and I are very well lit, and you two look like you're attending from some Afghani cave.
So. It's definitely on purpose. We don't want them to take over the role of eye candy for the podcast. It's strictly a Dale and Derek thing. We want to be the
right. You could just black our screen out.
Don't tempt me.
We could do that. Do we want to talk, Dale? Do we have an agenda for this week?
Oh, yeah. First of all,
do us start with the big news?
At the top, I would like to say to all the vets out there, thank you for your service. I donated. Okay. I got a poppy. I am a good human being, and I am better than anybody who's not wearing a poppy.
Well, congrats.
I'm not going to a store to get a poppy right now, so you shouldn't either.
Oh, I go out all the time. I go to the mall like every other day. Am I not supposed to?
Probably not anymore. And we'll cover that in a little bit.
Yeah, you better.
You better be at home. All right.
I went to the gym today too, so that's probably bad as well.
Oh,
but they only closed down group stuff at the gym. They didn't close down the gym in general.
Also, this gym is not COVID safe at all. Like,
yeah, it is.
No one wearing masks. No one social distancing.
They social distance.
I've been to gyms where they have like the plexi. I haven't been to gyms. I've seen gyms where they have the plexi.
Oh, yeah. So Derek came to our gym once. And
I came to the gym once.
Most busy it's been all of COVID.
It was pretty busy.
How many people?
Yeah.
How many people were in the gym? Like 5?
No, there was easily upwards of like probably 30 people there, I think. Like it's a larger gym, but I was surprised by how many people were there. And like
I don't want to exercise in not COVID, so I'm sure it's not going with like 30 people heavy breathing. Like
yeah. I wore a mask the whole fucking time I was there. Like I was just like, fuck this. I'm not getting COVID.
Only the mask protected you from anything and not protected others, right?
Right. Exactly.
I
don't have COVID, so I don't have to wear a mask. That's how it works, right?
Oh, that's not.
That you know of.
What? Just kidding.
Like, there's other things to be outraged about. We have to.
Yeah. No. Well, I guess we should keep talking about the poppy thing because we're going to talk.
Let's jump into the poppy thing.
Because Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Do you
take the lead, Dale? Do it.
Sure?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
You want to just scream over each other some more?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Want to do that.
Because that's good podcast.
Whole Foods!
So anyways, Whole Foods had said or had put out a memo to all of their staff that you're not allowed to have political statements or beliefs or anything on your work uniform. I think they made this as like a way to get around not having workers have Black Lives Matter stuff on their uniforms. But then it came time for Poppies, and then people in Canada, if you're not familiar with Canada, it's basically for a week out of every year, everybody loses their fucking mind about Poppies.
It's true. We lose them every day, 4 times a day.
You can't everything and all.
And we don't have pennies anymore, so you have to give like a nickel or a dime.
And it's like, you can't start
Wait, can we
Christmas
get-
until after Remembrance Day.
Can we talk more about the poppies? Because these poppies are definitely made in some like third world labor factory.
That's not the
and
point. Hey,
They're
we are Canadian. We are Canadian, and we are going to ignore that, and we are going to wear the fucking poppy.
they're like the
You better have that
flimsiest
poppy on.
plastic shit ever, and they're like a pin with no backing on it, so you will almost definitely stab yourself with it multiple times.
I'm
and
gonna
then
blow
it
your guys'
falls out.
mind. I'm gonna blow your mind. Look at this. Can you see
New
that?
one.
That's dope. I appreciate that.
So
I like the
At-
classic poppy.
yeah, at some of the places you can get like a pin with a backing that replaces the middle of the poppy, and that's what I have now because, like Derek said, I would lose a poppy 10 seconds after I bought it, and I'd be like, "Well, I bought one this year. That's good enough." So now I just do this, and now it's like the opposite effect. Since I never lose it, this is still the one from last year, but I still went and like donated to the box.
You fucking did not, you liar.
Yeah, I did. I gave him $5 and I said to the guy, "Thank you for your service." I already told you I was a better person than you because of
That's
this.
true.
Put it there.
We
No.
it is true. It's true. Because I asked them on Twitter to give me a link like to download a poppy because I wasn't going to go to a store and get one. And then they did. They sent me a link, but I didn't actually donate.
That's
I
fucking.
I retweeted it. I haven't-
There you go. That's like a donate anyway.
That's so
I-
smart though. Like a digital poppy for all the millennials or whatever.
Mhm.
Like that is the way people can show that they give a shit about veterans in Canada once a year for a week.
Yeah.
But
Well,
every
search it
year
up. If it's not your iPhone background, you don't give a
you
shit.
don't care.
You know what? They
That's
need like a new graphic artist. So because that poppy they have available is not like
not great.
it's not great. Like it was made by like an actual vet. Like I think it's very old fashioned. Like I don't know.
Are you
They're
talking
like,
about
hey-
the simple
Yeah,
digital
go
one
have a
where it's
look
just
at
like
it. It's-
an outline? You could
Well,
even
no, it's a poppy, but like
you could even get like face masks.
Like
So I was
MS
like,
Paint.
oh, I was gonna go get a face mask, but they're sold out, so you can't get one of those either.
I mean, they should
So-
have seen that coming.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it because they made so much money from the face mask that all the veterans will be taken care of. Because if they didn't make enough money, then how are they sold out? Right?
That's a good point.
That is a great
Well, you
point.
solved it. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't donate.
But anyway,
Yeah. So do we
So, Whole
we
Foods-
still want to explain the Whole Foods thing?
Yeah, Whole Foods fucking came out and said that staff were banned from wearing poppies because in the year of our Lord 2020, absolutely everything is political. Everything is politicized. So if you're saying something like, "I appreciate the people who died for us, defeating Hitler or whatever," that's going to land you somewhere on the political spectrum. So Whole Foods came out and said, no political statements or apparel, and that extended to poppies. And people shit their minds over something that's like, Starbucks did the exact same fucking thing with BLM like 2 months ago. Every major corporation I've worked for in my entire life has had corporate dress codes, more along the same lines. Like you can't wear things with logos on them. And everyone was like, well, without allowing staff to wear poppies, how are we going to know that they appreciate that the veterans died? And flip the fuck out. And I
there's no
don't
other
know.
way.
Dale, as a big poppy booster, is there
Dude,
anything?
Even Trudeau weighed in. He said he went on the record as saying it was a silly mistake. So,
Oh, well,
He knows those.
relax.
and
Just
coming from
everyone-
our fucking king hairdo over there, that's pretty scathing criticism.
the whole thing about Whole Foods is it itself is a fucking cause. And so
Yeah.
like for it to be like we are not recognizing causes, like you don't want like your whole existence is its own cause. So like how that's like a hypocritical statement.
The
Well-
thing too is, does Amazon not let you wear poppies because they own Whole Foods?
I was going to say,
So-
like, Whole Foods.
Amazon kind of goes the other way by just letting anybody sell anything that they want to put up there. And so
Yeah.
there are some things on there that are very questionable. And so they kind of just have the other's chance of just like, fuck it, say whatever you want, sell whatever you want. And so,
Yeah.
like there is a whole market for like Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter merchandise on Amazon. And Amazon's just sort of like, right? So they just
I'm
kind of
doing-
go the other way with it.
I'm doing some
So-
on-the-fly research here to see if they have any swastika flags, and I'm not turning up.
I feel like I
You're
hope
gonna get flagged.
incognito- please have an incognito window there. Because
Yeah.
But, hey, in my opinion, it was the whole thing. Everyone went friggin' crazy online about the not wearing the poppies. They were still going to go shopping at Whole Foods. Don't even tell me that you weren't going to go. Like, you're not boycotting Whole Foods if you live in Vancouver. It's not happening.
you're like
Mhm.
at Whole Foods.
That's
while
what I
doing
said. I
it, you're
tweeted
like,
that. I'm like, you're literally in Whole Foods being like, I hate this company. They are not supportive of their, like, and you're buying your whatever you're buying. I mean, you know, you want that image, and they could have just said, no, you're not wearing a poppy. Just gone on with life. Like, I think it would
Yeah,
have blown
like
because the election would have just overpowered.
I
it.
was this close to not
I
going
mean,
and spending
really.
$30 on the hot bar because of this no poppy thing.
like I almost
That was-
didn't $7.
That was the whole reason to go to Whole Foods, and now it's fucking gone. They don't have hot bar anymore.
They
So-
have it back. Well, they had it back up until today. I don't know if this
COVID?
like slide back into
Yeah.
semi phase 2 thing.
I
Yeah,
don't-
no, they just opened it a couple weeks ago because
I mean, you got to think that's
Well, no.
something that we're never gonna like. They can't have been making any
It's-
money off of
It's
that.
a problem.
Who's
It's a-
the- that's a big gamble.
yeah. Well, I'm sure buffets will come back hard.
yeah, it's gonna be a rough situation to come back from for sure.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, buffets. Yeah, but it's the same stupid
Foods
fucking
is
bullshit
shitty.
every year.
Every company is shitty.
What's up?
Nothing.
I said every company is shitty. So
Whole Foods is shitty. Every company is shitty.
Every company is shitty, and like Whole Foods doesn't really have this like ethical mandate anymore. They're just like
Amazon, yeah.
their whole mandate is to like make Jeff Bezos more rich.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's
That guy got a hot bar.
yeah.
Just his own private hot bar.
Yeah. Oh, that guy is- yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He's
yeah.
got fucking face or head like shiny stuff to buy.
I'm just,
Buffer.
it's like, yeah, you need like wax for that. I mean, you're both married to handsome bald men, so like they know the struggle. You got to get,
Mine
it takes
falls on
product.
purpose though, so he doesn't have shiny head because like there's actual like he shaves his head, so there's
Stubble.
hair there. So that's never like he doesn't have a shiny
Mine does,
head.
full
problem.
on.
He has like a
Yeah.
dry head, but yeah, it's different. People get very upset that he shaves his head when he doesn't need to, but
Why?
Yeah, I'm a little offended to
his
know
stepdad
that.
cannot. He's like, why, if you have hair, would you choose not to have hair? And he's like, because I don't want to deal with it, and I just don't like it.
I'm okay with that. Are people mad that he's not taking into account his hair privilege?
I
Apparently.
guess, yeah, like I bet you
Yeah,
somebody
for
right
real.
now is like, you are not like it's Derek. You are not taking into account your follicle privilege.
He's not. Why would he not grow it if he was able to do that? There are
He
thousands of people across
Hey.
the world.
Couple of things.
That's just
He
long.
can go back to when he had hair, and then there's like different kinds of it. Like he had long blonde hair with bangs when I first met him, which was like when Everly had the hair, it was like same cut. And like then just like regular, and he just doesn't want to deal with it. Like I don't know. Then I have to deal with my hair every day.
I'm
I just
with
find
him. Like I
bald,
have
but,
hair
like,
and I like it short just because I wear a hat to work and stuff.
yeah.
And it's just like then you have hat hair all day and then you have to deal with it. And then it's just like a
Yeah.
pain.
I thought
So-
you got that haircut to respect and honor the troops. Is that not true?
Well, no, I just said cut it straight. And then they like the lady who cut it, like you can't really tell, but she like usually they like kind of make the top flat so my head doesn't look like it goes to a point. But this time she cut it too short all the way up. And then my goatee made me look like a pedophile, so I had to like shave that off. And now I just look like I'm 12 years old again.
Hey,
So-
pedophiles are in. One just won the U.S. election. So
Derek. Oh wait, that's a good thing we should talk about. Do we have to have a moratorium, like a week or so buffer period before we start bitching about Joe Biden?
oh, dude, we're gonna hear it for the next fucking
Oh my
4
God.
years. But like, have we talked about this on the podcast before?
I
Just,
have,
like the
'cause
weirdness.
I have no
Like him
idea.
sniffing kids' hair
Yeah.
and
He
the
does-
hunt.
he likes
Yeah,
to
we.
get-
Sorry, go ahead,
Right,
Candice.
he just likes to get close, like, you know,
Mhm.
he put his arms around him and Yeah, smell their hair.
He's very touchy. Like, I honestly think it's for those who don't know who we're talking about. Joe Biden was the Democratic nominee for president, who they
Could
just
you
announced.
imagine not knowing? Oh, I want to be in that world. I
Yeah,
want to be
like,
in the world
honestly.
where I don't know who Joe Biden is.
Like, holy shit, if you live in that world, please call us and bring
Yeah.
us there.
Just, yeah, tell us what was happening with you.
Even our one Scottish listener knows who Joe Biden is.
Yeah, well, now she's gonna get mad that you said that, but that's
Why,
that's fine.
Oh wait, is she Irish? Is this the one that I keep
No,
mixing
she is
up?
Scottish. She
Okay.
was Scottish. She lived in Ireland. Now she lives in Canada.
Yeah, but she,
Um,
oh, okay, she's not in Scotland anymore.
She's not in Scotland. Even
Definitely no.
Find a new listener from there.
we are.
Yeah.
And we're not going to with that attitude, Dale. Even
Oh, yeah.
Scottish people, the most backwards fucks in the history of the
No,
world.
it was just that's far away, and they have their own things to deal with, and they have like their own Trump and Boris Johnson, so they don't have to worry themselves with ours.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Biden takes. I mean, obviously something to be celebrated in a way because it's.
I
not-
mean, like,
Number.
show me him in the office. I don't buy shit. Like, that whole like, the whole Trump thing, I mean, even if he ends up there, like, Biden will end up there, whatever. But it's just going to be like a circus for a while. So I think it's great and that everyone should celebrate it today. But then I think that it will become a circus again real fast.
I think they should.
But at least it's a circus with like an
COVID.
end date, I guess. to
Yeah,
some degree,
I
or
like it
a-
because his whole circus, like Biden just seems like they turn the volume down on Trump. So it's like when you're listening to a jackhammer and they turn it down a bit and then your ears are just ringing. You're like, it's still better, but my ears are still ringing.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny. You listened to Biden make a couple statements while they were doing the counting and everything, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's what presidents used to sound like before this
Right.
fucking oaf came along."
My thing is like all the concessions, like you see like John McCain, like to Obama, and
Yeah.
the George Bush letter to Clinton and stuff, and you're just like, oh, like this is what losing with grace and like believing in democracy and actually just accepting that the people have spoken, like not this whatever he, his
It's like a
tantrum.
movie.
Yeah.
Making
Well, it is,
into a
that's-
movie that is just not entertaining, and I don't
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch his acceptance speech tonight?
know. But I saw some
Oh.
tweets about it. I heard.
Yeah, I was watching it just because I was like, oh, let's check it out. And then he was like using full sentences that like linked together to make paragraphs. And I was like, holy shit. And then he stuttered a bit and I was like, that's okay. He can mumble his words a bit. And then he kept saying United States America because he can't say United States of America because whatever he's got going on.
Why?
I don't know. He said every time he went to say United States of America, he said United States America. Like he had
Was
like a
his
little
mouth
pause.
full of children's hair, or like I don't understand why?
He has a
And then-
stutter. He has a stutter. He has
Yeah.
to probably speak.
Does he actually?
Yes. You haven't come on.
Jared.
I didn't know that.
Derek, don't stutter shame. That's
Fine.
not the place on this
Like
podcast.
that movie about
Oh,
The kid.
that's what it is. Yes.
that one,
That's
King's
what-
Speech.
He's got a video with like a little kid that has a stutter, and basically you watch it and you just start crying. And I don't even have a heart, and I was like, oh my
He
God.
doesn't.
I don't have a
Like,
heart.
it's just so. He's like, you're gonna get past this kid. You're gonna grow up, and you're gonna be. And he was like really close to him, but he was still very.
He's like, is that Pantene Pro V? That's nice. Were you just watching The Water Boy and not actually a video of Joe Biden?
I love that movie.
Oh dear.
Oh.
I'm concerned about Derek not knowing that. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm just doing some other on-the-fly research to see if is this our first president with a stutter, which is the only first we should be celebrating right now in terms of people entering office. First white man with a stutter to serve as president of the United States of America. Kudos to Joe Biden. There has been a prime minister of Finland. James Earl Jones had a fucking stutter, apparently.
Whoa.
He's a stutter.
Maybe that's why he talks slow. So he could control his stutter because he talks so deep and like this.
Is that
Maybe
your
I should talk
James
like
Earl
that.
impression?
Do I sound smarter if I talk
Darth
Deeper
Vader had a stutter.
and slower?
I don't know if smarter is the word.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it doesn't sound smarter to me either.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So Yeah, it's like, oh, one thing about Joe Biden is like, are we going to get Russiagate Part 2? Because this one has a paper trail, and it's like a stronger case than there ever was against Trump, really.
Does it, though?
Silently.
You didn't
I
see the
don't know,
emails?
just don't be so public about it then if you're gonna.
Yeah.
Emails. Everyone should just maybe stop emailing. This didn't happen so
Yeah.
much before email. Like, get a carrier pigeon. They can't be that hard to find.
Or just
And
stop.
also, if you're going to have a son who does crack, don't let him take the emails that are sensitive and like maybe implicate you in bribery.
Formerly did crack. I want
Well,
to.
they're saying that's how that company got the laptop in the first place, was that
Yeah.
Hunter
Parents never
Biden.
know when their kids are doing.
That was gonna be like,
Come on.
That's a good point. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we will. Oh God.
I never.
No, I-
Derek, are you done your research? Is he the first stutterer?
He's the first stutterer to hold the office of U.S. president. So.
Oh my God! Remember that song
Congrats, Joe Biden.
"Stutter Rap"?
Remember that song "Stutter" by Joe? Or you remember that?
No.
The 90s, it was like a rap.
Yeah, "Stutter Rap." Wasn't that like 95 or something?
Wasn't Stutter Rap Grandmaster Flash?
Maybe, I don't know.
Now I gotta look it up.
Look it up. It's a song.
Oh yeah,
It's really fun for you to just look up stuff while
Dude.
we're hanging out
Wait,
here.
what were the actual
Um,
topics we were talking? Oh yeah, Biden.
yeah, Biden. So, ladies, what do you think of Biden? Do you think he's going to meet everybody's expectations of how Donald Trump let them down?
No.
No.
No president ever meets anybody's
mean-
expectations except Obama, but that was after he was gone.
And
Like,
also,
Yeah.
everything
close. He was close actually.
like every major thing, like all of the way the country runs will be fundamentally the same. Like it
Mhm.
won't be like a horribly the racism that's inherent in the White House and all of that stuff will go away. And I do think, like you said, having a president who can string a sentence together will go a long way in restoring people's faith in the ability of America not to implode and take the rest of the world with them.
Oh yeah, just remember with
Government, it's still
Yeah.
gonna be the basic same bullshit.
And the
about
people who
runs
supported
stuff.
Trump, I was reading today, there's not even a Republican Party anymore. That is Trumpican Party or whatever. And
Yeah.
these people are so brainwashed.
Mhm.
It's just dead. The whole party needs to do a complete rebuild, and I don't even know where you begin. After.
I'm gonna say, do they have to do a rebuild? They lost this election by a pretty fucking small margin, and Trump, who is objectively the worst guy.
Love
Yeah.
Trump, and I don't know.
Those people love Trump, not
They might not
well,
love
some, they kind of go both ways. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm with Derek.
Trump
Like
is
Trump was basically toxic waste for this election, and everybody was expecting the Democrats to just win in a landslide. And the fact that it was so close would almost make me think that the Democrats need to take a look at their party
Well, they
and maybe
won,
configure
so
them.
they
Well,
can
yeah,
look
they
at
got
it.
a bit
They can
of
look at it, yeah.
I've already seen preliminary reports that Tucker Carlson will be the presumptive nominee for 2024, which
Really?
is the thing, populist idiot who is famous on TV and is really good at getting people mobilized with anger and fear. I think that's probably going to be the yeah.
How's this tweet game though?
You know.
Yeah, I mean nobody owns unhinged Twitter like Trump. He really that is something that I will give him that. He is the best at that. He wins bigly.
Because then I couldn't even laugh at them anymore.
It did definitely lose its crazy charm as time went on. I remember when it first started and you're like, what? This is the president? That's nuts. I can't wait to read this. And then 2 years later, you're like, fuck, just shut up. And
You're like,
mute
what?
it.
You're on the toilet while you're writing this. Just go away.
Yeah, nobody tweets from the toilet.
Thing, the Four Seasons.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to, Candice, you want to walk us through it?
I can't because I just got the summary of it, but it was hilarious. So someone with more information maybe.
Was that just an accident that they embraced, or did they mean
No.
to do that?
I don't think so.
So
Oh wait, yes,
It was an accident that they just went with it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly, like Trump
Yeah.
had tweeted that there was going to be a news. I saw this play out a couple different ways. I don't know what actually happened, but I saw
Yeah.
Trump like send a tweet that there was going to be a news conference from the Four Seasons,
Yes.
and then the Four Seasons Hotel said, "No, we're not gonna have this event here." And so everyone, because Trump had already sent it out, they went scrambling to find any other business named
Right.
Four Seasons, and they found a fucking landscaping
Next
company
to a sex shop.
next to a sex shop. And it's just like
It's
I cannot think of a
third
more
grade. It's like third fucking grade.
perfect metaphor for the Trump presidency than like,
And that
Yeah.
way,
yeah.
Yeah.
just to me, yeah.
And Rudy Giuliani actually showed up there to talk to the press. That was the crazy spot. Like, I could see them just sending like an intern.
Come outside again.
Hmm.
'Cause that was intense, and that was more of Giuliani that I wanted to see. So
Yeah, I don't know what's that guy sure fell from being America's mayor to
Yeah.
I know after 9/11 he did so good, and then it just
he did. And like you had to work so hard like on 9/11, like he could have ridden that and just like gone out
you
and
had
like,
to really work hard to
fucking to be where he is now and like be Trump's mouth. Like, come on, Rudy. Be
George
smarter
Bush
than
didn't
that.
even do that. Like,
No, George Bush
Yeah.
like went off and retired and fucking like now colors children's books at a ranch or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he paints and he carries like he's like a grandma now. He carries like Werther's original in his pockets, and he gives
Oh
him.
my
He gave
God,
one to Michelle
does.
Obama.
presidents are like 1,000 when they get elected. So after they're done, they should go to like a place and color and eat Werther's originals. Like fuck it.
Yeah, I think Biden's gonna be coloring in a book within a month or
Yeah,
a year.
I think that's the thing, right? We're gonna have
Yeah. How long do we think? Okay, let's just start an open pool on how long we think Kamala Harris. It's going to take for Kamala Harris to take over for Biden. I'm saying before January.
I don't
No.
think so. No, I think he's
I feel
gonna
like
go
it-
as far as he can go.
and either got like this time next year
Okay.
when we're in our 7th wave and
Doesn't
This is
die.
a Joe Biden
Not
death
even
pool,
allowed-
right?
we're not even
No,
allowed people in our
just Joe Biden unable to continue being president pool. I mean, we could make it a death pool if you want.
No. I think the full run unless he. Like I think he's gonna just go the 4 years, and it's the segue for her to enter. But I was saying to my husband today at dinner, like she can't fuck it up. Like they got to be scandal free. Like if they want to get the woman in there,
Yeah.
Women of color, all that kind of thing. Like they're going to be judged so hard, even though we just came from Trump. I think they have to be obviously cautious of that. So
Yeah. Well, the right wing is going to try and make fucking scandals out of
for
fucking
sure, yeah.
everything. Like even the like smallest like
Obama.
slip up. Like you need to like.
We know the media just tones down how much they listen to them with Trump not in the office, and it it's not going to go away, but it might
Mhm.
It might.
ease
I don't
off.
know. The-
Well, the good thing for Harris is all the stuff, the right wing's going to come hard at them, but Joe Biden's going to take the brunt of this, like all the stuff, like all the scandals and stuff. They're going to try to bring
Yeah.
it up. Like it's going to be way easier to get Biden on him because of his shady past and stuff. So
She has a bit of a shady past, also. I think, doesn't she? With
wasn't
law-
she just like the?
Thing.
What was her role with the police, Derek?
she was a prosecutor and then she was a DA in fucking California. And she was like, she was very not friendly towards minorities or poor people so much, which being in a prosecutor role, you can't really be. You would
And,
want to.
People grow and change.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, and she's not Trump.
Yeah, and
So-
that was
Yeah.
how long ago,
Well,
Derek? Like she was
Uh,
also, but like had to operate within the
Okay.
realm of her job too, and
Well,
it's
yeah.
not like
Exactly.
the whole overall police infrastructure is very nice to immigrants or poor people
Mhm.
or visual minorities in the States.
She was district attorney of San Francisco from 2004 to 2011. So, 9 years for her to maybe look and be like, oh, a lot of my policies did disproportionately harm people of color and the poor. So maybe, we'll see if she's changed her tune.
A lot of things have changed in 9 years.
Yeah. Like people now have smartphones.
Question for the death pool.
Person.
Has Joe Biden had a confirmed case of COVID yet? Because if he has not, I think he makes it to like March, April next year, because that motherfucker is like 90 years old and COVID would definitely take him down.
Yeah.
I know this girl and her grandpa's like 96 and he got COVID and then he recovered. And I was like,
I've heard of people like 100-year-old.
I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't. She chronicled the whole thing. Like, they took him out. He was in a long-term care in the States, got COVID, and they were like, no, fuck this. He's going to not survive in there. And they took him home and he's fine. I mean, he's still 96 or whatever, but like,
he's not fine.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the weird things about COVID is it somehow affects some people worse than others. Like, I think it has a lot to do with like vitamin deficiency and stuff. Like if you're pretty healthy going into it, I think you're okay.
I'm literally staring at Brandee's pile of vitamins. There's like 100 bottles here.
Yeah.
Well, Brandee is safe from COVID.
In the mail.
Dude, look at my vitamins. I had to get one of these to start taking and I fill up every one, and each day's got like 9 in it.
When Dale and I are the last 2 people on earth, you two will be laughing at you.
Yeah, enjoy that.
I'll be taking your leftover vitamins.
Brandee, what vitamins are you taking?
Honestly, that's just like vitamin D for the kids and probiotics. Like those just came to me.
Okay, I'm taking
iron because like otherwise I die. But
I'm taking vitamin C, vitamin D.
Yep.
What's it called? Oh,
Xanax.
the fish oil one. What's it called?
Omegas.
Yeah, omega-3. And then I'm taking like this gout one that's like cherry essence and celery essence. And then I'm taking ashwagandha.
Celery essence.
And I think that's it. Yeah, there's this one herbal thing. It's like supposed to help with gout. And it's pretty good. It does help. So I wouldn't recommend people take that one though.
No,
because if you don't have gout, it's not going to do much for you.
A little extra.
Yeah. But I would highly recommend everybody start taking vitamin D, especially if you live in Vancouver where there's less sun now.
I just put it in all the food now.
Like my baby.
Like liquid vitamin D in the food. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I just drop it on the kids' breakfast in the morning. So that
fucking mom life hack right there. All you listeners with kids.
Yeah.
Just remember, because
your kids with vitamins.
Constantly. I mean, whatever. It's probably bullshit, but it'll make me feel better. So I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I think it's pretty good. Like, they're saying that was one of the things that affected the people who were getting COVID a lot. Was
the other thing, my thing with vitamin D is also because like it's really linked to MS, and that doesn't sound like something I want to do either. So
sounds fun, yeah.
Feel like having like a drop a day to not have MS. So.
And vitamin D is one of those weird things because it like starts to act like a hormone or something. Like, I don't know. I was listening to a nutritionist talk on a podcast about it, and it was like pretty much the most important vitamin, and then I just forgot everything she said, except for I still take it because I don't want all the bad stuff she said happens to happen to me. Even
though you can't remember what the bad stuff was.
Yeah, I can't remember most of the bad stuff. Like if I had to remember everything I heard on a podcast, my brain would be like this big.
And I'm counting on people not remembering anything
like
they hear.
The outrage part of this podcast.
Don't remember this. Dale, I was gonna say your brain would just be full of fucking Joe Rogan.
That's actually where I heard the nutritionist talk about vitamin D was on Joe Rogan. He has I can't remember her name, but he has this nutritionist that goes on the show every once in a while. It's a doctor. I can't remember her name, but
doctor?
Yeah.
Well, like whatever the nutritionist doctor is, like a doctor of nutrition.
Right.
It's not just like an MMA fighter wearing like a lab coat. Like you.
But is it like a doctor like Dr. Oz or
Dr. Phil?
No.
Or Dr. Phil?
All right, I'm gonna pull a Derek and I'm gonna Google mid podcast because you guys, Joe Rogan.
But like about stuff that makes us angry.
I'm the worst at this because I have to like talk as I'm
What are you angry about?
I don't
Is
know.
it-
Talk about.
I
Are
thought
you?
this was
Do you guys want to talk about No Nut November? That was a
yes,
big
'cause I
thing in
didn't
our.
know it existed until
Did you not?
no. I thought it was a joke when he told me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is a good one to talk about. And Candice was like, but that's satire, right? And I said, no, because literally men will, like, they're just trying to solve everything with your dicks.
Oh yeah.
Like,
This is the
So
opposite of solving, isn't
I'll
it?
I'll tell you where I came into contact with No Nut November. It was like a couple years ago, and I think it was on 9gag. It was one of the
Wait.
chat rooms that has
Wait.
like younger kids,
Hey,
and there was this thing it started, and people were like, I'm gonna see how long I could go without nutting, and then people were giving testimonials. They're like, oh my god, since I stopped jerking off every day, I have gotten my life together. Because like for some young dudes, it's just like it ruins their life pretty much, because all they think about is jerking off, and then they have like all these like boners, and then they get like a porn addiction, and then they can't like pay attention to their job and stuff.
with men. Like what's
It's
all
tough.
together?
See, you think it's easy being a white male in your 20s, but let me tell you, you want to jerk off so much that it ruins your life. Imagine if
That is-
you
And no one
jerked off
knows.
so much to ruin your life.
No one knows that struggle, and you can't just walk around and be like, I wish I was compulsively masturbating. So
Yeah.
we just struggle in silence, and no one really understands.
Oh, so that's what this is about. The
Yeah.
silent
Also-
struggle of the
I'm
male.
thinking about the freaking whatever December thing, because then they're just like,
Oh,
we're gonna
destroy your dick December?
December. That's
That-
the part I was like, okay, so
Wait, is that follow up?
yeah.
That's the
so,
follow-up.
so after you
That's
do
fun.
No Nut November, then it's the 12 days of Christmas, but it's like destroy your dick December. So day one orgasm, all the way up to 12. Dale interpreted it as all the way to Christmas Day and 25.
That's the way I heard. No, the way I heard it was the whole month
25
of
orgasms.
November. They talked about it on Letterkenny. So they were talking about every day you jerk off as many times as the number of the day. And I said 25 of December as an example. So on Christmas, you'd be nutting 25 times.
Could you?
That's a pretty good Christmas if you ask me. I mean,
Okay, but really,
Okay.
like that feels.
I've never done that, so you'll have to fill me in. Like,
Dale,
oh, you're not a 20-year-old male.
at this age,
but I guess maybe when you were 20, but like
Mhm.
even then,
Even
25 times.
what's the math on that?
that I think was possible. But now, like, if,
Yeah, it
if
would-
you wanted to have your 25th nut of the day, it would be a single fleck of sand shooting out of your dick.
Not
And that's
not
just
after
like it.
40. In my 20s, I could have easily made 25 in a day, but now, like, I'm maybe one every couple days.
I think
it's
you
just-
did a couple times. I lived with you, and there,
Hey,
let me tell you.
let's just say I know about No Nut November because I had a very large libido in my 20s. Thank
Okay.
God that part of me is shriveled up and died, and I could focus on life now.
30 days that long? Like, is somebody like
30 days, even at 40, I couldn't do it.
Hopefully 30
I
days
couldn't go 40 days without it.
What? Without
Without
nutting?
nutting.
Without nutting.
Without nutting.
I was gonna say we're all married and or old, so No Nut November is happening, or as we like to call it, November.
Zing.
you're the one
Huh?
like you're the one that lives alone. The rest
Derek, is your no nut November still going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what day
no,
is it today?
isn't.
The 7th. No.
Oh,
it's
7th.
not.
There you go. See what I mean?
of us. So
Mine isn't either. Just so we're even. Oh, also, the doctor on Joe Rogan was Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
I already
In
stopped
case
caring.
people were like
I
waiting
really-
with bated breath.
We've moved on to nutting.
Oh, that reminds me, Derek. I had some feedback about how angry you were about Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah, do
And-
share.
Neil wanted to know if you were touched by Joe Rogan.
No, if I had been, I probably wouldn't be as angry at him.
like
No, I
physically,
just-
proportionally.
I think Joe Rogan
Molested.
fucking sucks. Like he's just shitty, and he has like this army of fanboy enablers who are like, well, he just wants to expose people to other opinions, but he doesn't
All right.
do that on.
Let's start
Yeah.
talking about not
down again.
masturbating anymore. Do you guys remember that episode of Seinfeld where they had the no
Yes,
masturbating?
for my domain, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate of all
That's
Seinfeld
the no nut
episodes, I think.
challenge right there.
Yeah.
All right, so are we doing it?
No.
What?
No.
Well, okay, so wait, you're gonna raise money or
My
just no?
favorite part about it when I read
Do you
about
want
it
me to
was the
kill
rules.
somebody?
So in the rules, they're like, you can have one wet dream,
Yeah.
and then otherwise you're kicked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's a weird rule.
How often does that happen?
If guys in their 20s don't masturbate, they start having wet dreams probably after about 6 days.
You can't control that.
I don't even
No.
know so much about how young people.
He remembers this time masturbating.
I
day.
was 20, Candice. I've lived through this. Ask Patrick. I bet he
Right.
would tell you the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the reason all 20-year-old men are garbage, is because it's like they all have multiple personalities, where you have this voice in your head that the longer you hold sperm inside your body, the louder it gets and the more angry it gets. So you have to release it to get rid of it.
And after
like,
you
what?
release,
Happens to you because like that, and then just like what? Then you're fine.
It's just like, it's like your body gets like more testosterone and stuff. So you basically like just get angrier and more physical, and you get like restless. And it's like,
You know, but then you turn 35 and you're like,
yeah, then your testosterone production
just
in your
over it.
body slows down. So it's like as dudes get older, they get lower T. We don't get wiser and smarter as we age. We just get less testosterone, so we get less angry and
like
less.
you seem less stupid, but you were just more stupid.
yeah, it's just no, yeah.
Yeah, we're
We're
just
equally
calmer.
stupid.
That's it. All that happens is we don't have this voice inside our head saying to go do manly things and wreck stuff. Like when you're young, you'll just get this like these urges. It's like just push over that mailbox, and you're like, why? It's like just do it, and then you do, and it just comes out of nowhere. And then it's like
We're just
smash that window, and you're like, all right.
I dated a guy like when I was around 20 and he punched a stop sign.
oh yeah, I had one that did that too, and then I had to lock him out. And then he was mad I locked him out, and I was like, well, you punched a sign, so like don't come in. I'm like, we were just thinking how glad we are we have girls, because that
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't have
Like,
to deal with that.
I would
shit.
be afraid of all the like socks in your future. Just like
Oh, yeah.
that's just like a thing that like you're gonna have to, Derek, and then just like punching stuff and like
Yeah, and then like holes in the drywall when you don't let them do whatever they want. Yeah,
Girls also do stuff.
I don't know.
Well,
I think November is a good thing for like, especially nowadays that everybody has all this access to porn whenever and wherever they want, basically. Like at least when we
Eye
were,
on the news.
It's like Fox News.
yeah, like at least when me and Derek were young, we had to go to the woods to find free porn. We didn't have a phone; we could just pull it up.
Hey, wait,
Like stand in the woods and watch women through the trees. Or
No,
they
like
hide it, they hid it in the bushes.
No,
We
you
went
would
to
just
find magazines,
find
and then you just
porn
masturbate in
magazines
the woods.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
You
it's
just
called
stand in
woods
the-
porn.
You stand in the trees.
by
Yeah.
your bedroom.
You
What?
stand in the trees? What the fuck, Seminar?
Oh, okay.
No, you,
so
like,
no, it
wander
wasn't
out into
Salmon
the
Arm. This
trees.
is like
I'm
a
sorry.
well-known thing. Ask any guy over 40 about woods porn. So what happens is dudes want to jerk off and they
Really
get
making my
crazy.
husband come down here right now. And answer this question.
So they buy porn and then they go to the woods and they jerk off, and then they get just all the shame rushes in and they're like, I don't want this magazine anymore. So they leave it in the woods.
Oh, that sounds so creepy.
And then you find woods porn, and then you're like, I'm not even gonna think about
As
where
a
this came
woman,
from.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that was a
I'm not going to imagine why this is
Okay,
sticky.
so to be fair, I have found porn magazines like I used to, you know, when we were teenagers, and you'd go have like bum bonfires like in the trees, and there's porn.
And there's porn there.
Right?
That's why.
Woods porn.
Wait,
There you go.
wait.
I mean, I thought people were hiding it, but I didn't think they were actually.
This summer, I would take my baby in the stroller and I go to the park. There's 3 baseball diamonds in the park near where I live.
hmm
And I tweeted it one day and I was like, why is there always one alone guy at each diamond? Like, why are they're at their own diamond? They're not friends. They're not on their phone. And why are they like looking around like in a weird way because I'm over in the corner doing, you know, or exercise or something? You might have just answered my question.
Diamond
Yeah.
porn.
They might have just been like, they want to go, they can't get alone time because maybe their family's home or they don't have enough rooms in their house, and they just want to go. Also, maybe they just want to feel the fresh air on their penis. That might be a thing too.
Who doesn't? I tell you that if the internet didn't exist, nobody could go for a hike in the woods right now without being besieged. Like you'd just be taking a stroll through the woods and there'd be armies of dudes jerking off to magazines on either side of you. So,
Yeah.
you
I mean, I'm not,
Armies of dudes.
I asked Andrew if that's something that he recalled, and he said not that he recalled.
What?
So,
he's also
Oh.
from Manitoba, where what are you gonna do? Go masturbate in a wheat field? Like,
Well,
no.
also Manitoba, everybody had basements, so they could just go hide in the basement and masturbate. So they didn't have to worry about going in the woods. Also, there was no woods. It was Manitoba. It was flat.
and cold, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you don't want to go
we
get
were
fresh
just-
air on your pee-pee in minus 40 weather.
So Dale, are we doing
My
this?
daughter out alone ever.
Are we
Yeah,
doing
Don't
what?
do that. No
Buying-
fab November.
Every time
No,
let
I already
Ryan-
failed NoFap November.
Starting from now, the Outrage Factory No Fab Challenge.
No.
We don't have to
No,
worry
I'm
about
not
it.
doing that.
You said it was a good thing because we're all addicted to pornography.
Yeah.
So
all of us. He just said,
The 20-year-old you.
also like, yeah. That's not fit for the other half of your relationship. I
I
think.
mean, Derek does live alone here.
Yeah.
I should.
Do what all he wants.
I'm sacrificing nothing.
Well, you'd have to go through
Sacrifice
when you
nothing
go
for
see your
what-
wife at the end of November.
Yeah.
No, let's just run it for like 2 weeks.
No.
I see. I see. Well,
I
mean,
think you'd have to clear it with Andrea first.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just edge.
Because my nuts are legally 50% her ownership as well.
50%. That's being awfully generous to yourself there, buddy.
Hey, I never said I couldn't brag on the podcast.
Your confidence right there, Dale. That was very confident.
What else was newsworthy this week
We're
other
not
than
out movies.
we're what?
I don't know. Dale's having.
Oh, all the
movies.
movies got pushed back. So James
Yeah.
Bond, Ryan Reynolds had a movie coming out, Black Widow movie. They all got pushed back to indefinitely because they tried to open the movie theaters and then they
Yeah.
failed. And then like a lot of
Sell it to me on Netflix. Just sell it to me online.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're fucking
$14 a Pauly Shore movie.
Depends what it is. Like I usually wouldn't go to a movie anyway, but I might buy a
You might
new
wanna
release
see
at
it.
home. I mean, I might.
You might want
Yeah.
to see it.
I think the movie industry was like vastly optimistic about how willing
Well,
people
but
were.
also those things are in production for so long. Like it was already rolling. Like that stuff would have been planned before COVID. You know, like they had to try to do something with it. And-
Yeah, way before. But I don't know why they're
Yeah.
not just. I still think they're being optimistic. Like there were a few when COVID first hit that they were like, "Well, fuck it, we'll just like partner
Yeah.
with Cineplex or Netflix and like do the direct to home release, and people can like rent it digitally or whatever." And then Tenet, the Christopher Nolan film, tried to like. They were like, "Okay, life's going back to normal. We're gonna put this movie into theaters," and it just fucking bombed. And I think
Yeah.
after seeing that, everyone was like. Until that happened, everyone was content to be like, okay,
Mhm.
we're still going to release our movie schedule.
You're not gonna
and-
sit for 2 hours in a room with other
Yeah.
people.
With other
in
people.
the dark with people breathing.
I mean,
And
okay,
another
Mr.
thing,
Jim. Mr. People don't have to wear masks at the where are they breathing heavier, at the movies or the gym, Dale?
what movies are you
But, like,
going
also,
to, Derek?
every fucking outbreaky kind of pandemic movie has the scene in the theater where someone's like, and then
Yeah.
every one of them
Exactly.
happens. Like, every time I'm in there, even pre-COVID, I was like, oh, something's going down. And
Yeah,
so,
and
kinda-
one of the reasons they said it was because California is like basically the biggest market for movies and theaters, and they just shut all the movie theaters again because they went back into lockdown or something. So they're like,
Yeah.
well, fuck. And then this in Europe, UK and Spain, I think, and France are all going back into lockdown. So there's
yeah, my
those
dad tried
markets
to
again.
get on a plane and he could not. And he did not know that they changed the rules until he was trying to board the plane. So that
Oh,
did-
that
Oh,
sucks.
shitty.
it did suck. So,
So,
he-
and he was trying to go to Denmark?
yes.
Okay.
And so his wife got injured and he was trying to go back to Denmark, and they changed the rule in the EU that you have to have got a negative COVID test within 72 hours of arrival into the country. But it's really difficult to do that like here to get like your ticket and your appointment. Like the timing just doesn't work with the travel time and everything. And so, but he didn't know about this at all. But anyways, so the Danish government has said that he can come into the country because he's married to a Danish person, but he can't fly directly there because there aren't any direct flights. And so he can't get into like Germany and he can't get into the UK. And the UK is very risky because between Brexit and COVID, he doesn't want to fly into the UK. And so it's just, but yeah, so he had to come from the island and like try to go. And so, I mean, it's just part of the whole thing is changing like so fast and whatever. But so but it's Denmark, so they're like, we're gonna work on it and they'll figure it out. But it's been stressful.
Maybe it's
shitty.
Maybe he should stay away from Denmark. Did you hear what happened there with the fucking mink?
I know. So I didn't know about the minks until after I found out he didn't make it, and I was like, well, maybe the mink thing, we should maybe just not go.
Yeah. So if you don't know, the mink thing is what happens in Denmark was they found that the mink were starting to get COVID and they had actually passed it on to 12 people. So the prime minister wants to cull 15 million mink. It's basically the whole country's crop of mink for fur coats and stuff. Sorry?
It wasn't just that they were getting COVID and passing it to humans.
Passing it back.
They were getting it, mutating it, and then passing it back, which was like, good luck fucking, and you have to wonder.
The Danes are the fucking best. Like, they're just like, fucking kill them all. Just kill them all.
Fuck these mink.
Wait, I have a message from someone in Denmark, Brandee's stepmom. So I messaged her last night and I was like, what is going on with the minks? And she said, it can't just be Danish mink. It must be in all mink farms. We are probably just the only ones who found it since we're testing the shit out of people. Now we're killing all the minks to be safe, and 7 municipalities are in quarantine to prevent the spread.
Nice.
So they're like, cut it out. But I respect the shit out of that because they're just like, fucking, they do not give a shit. They are going to shut that down. The late, like, this is my dad's wife. She broke 7, her horse kicked her and she broke 7 ribs. Like, oh my God, how are you? And she goes, bones heal. Like that.
Is that what people are like in Denmark?
They're so fucking practical. They really
so tough.
Smart.
7 ribs. Ooh.
Educated.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, the minks are sick. They're getting people sick. Fuck the minks. Kill them all.
Yeah, I read in the article, the best part was at the bottom, the government was like, well, maybe this is a chance for people to get out of the mink industry because it's been failing lately. And you're like, what? I mean, that's a very optimistic way to look at it.
Apparently mink are very mean and they bite people. Someone told me they're on the island and they're on like the beaches, one of the beaches there.
Anyway, oh yeah, they're soft, but they're not nice.
Whoa.
Well, that's a good point. Like that cannot just be limited to Danish mink. And you have to think like, if this happened with mink, how many other fucking species is this currently happening with?
So the thing with the mink is I read a stat and I can't remember if it's 40 or 60, but it's one of the 2% of the world's mink comes from Denmark. So they do have like an extremely high concentration of the world's supply of mink. So there aren't like mink farms like everywhere, but you're right in that if it's minks, it's also like ferrets and squirrels and shit.
Rats, raccoons,
and
like
cats, probably.
Oh, the mice they bring in.
Oh, the mice. Yeah. See?
Oh yeah. COVID
That's
mice.
where the plague came from. So
if you want a fur coat, now is the fucking time. There's going to be banging sales on.
I mean, I guess
Denmark's going to be the major exporter of mink.
There is going to be a lot of. I'm going to get like a mink rug or like mink wallpaper. I don't know.
Get one of those fucking like. It's basically like a taxidermy mink that you just like wrap around. Yeah.
I'm gonna that'll be the Christmas present.
Like a mink scarf, where it's like minks attached to each other, like human centipede, but it's mink. You just wrap it around your neck.
Would you want a COVID mink for?
Well, like if I gave it 3 to 5 days in the other room, right? All the COVID dies. So.
Yeah, like it's not breathing anymore. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
probably.
that's actually I was thinking. Like when they cull all these mink, are they going to be able to process them and take their hides, or do they have to like burn
they're
them?
Danish, so they're probably going to just light them on fire, and all the smoke will go out of a weird stack that's very high in the sky, and no one knows where.
Got a hole in the ozone.
Yeah, it'll just go to space through that hole in the ozone.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
2020.
How long long time until we fuck space up. So I'll be dead by the time space is fucked up. It's fine. Just
I wonder what's going to happen with Space Force now that Trump was one-term president. You think?
Dude, did you not see that $10 quadrillion fucking asteroid they found? That's what Space Force is about.
Yeah, but are they still going to do it?
Yeah. Whoever gets to that asteroid and starts mining it is basically going to bankrupt the entire economy of every country
Ben
that's not
Affleck.
touching it.
it's been out.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you want Space Force to get to it, or do you want the Chi-Coms to get to it, Derek?
Bruce Willis. No,
I mean, whatever.
I think it's actually more of if it's going to be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk compared to countries.
anywhere. He's gonna sit at home with his hot bar. And
Yeah.
that fucking
It's all food hot bars. Coming.
On his space rock. All right. Was there anything else newsworthy? Brandee and Candice, what are you angry about this week? What happened?
I'm angry that in 1 hour and 56 minutes she has to go home and now she can't come back because we're not supposed to. She's my bubble, but now we're not supposed to hang out, and she lives like 100 steps away.
I thought you were allowed to have 6 people still.
No, they got rid of it.
There's no socializing, inside, outside, no safe sex, can't fucking do anything.
People,
outside can.
they
Outside.
weirdly, they made an exemption for people who
Or
live
single.
alone. Well, they said single, but I'm
Or
going to
whatever. Sorry,
take
live
that to
alone.
mean like I don't get to interact with other people and I'll lose my fucking mind if I don't do that. So
Well, and it makes sense, but it's complicated because, okay, so they're like, if you live alone, you can still have a couple people, which is fine. But then you literally have to find other people who live alone to interact with because you're not allowed, because none of the people who don't live alone are allowed out.
up there, yeah.
Is Bonny Henry secretly getting money from Tinder for this?
I mean,
Because
maybe.
that's what this sounds like. She's like, oh, you can't talk to other families and stuff unless you're alone and say you're on an app and you meet someone else who is alone and also on that app.
Well, and
You
it's
guys could still hang
the
out.
weird restaurant thing, because it's like the restaurants are open, but you're not supposed to see people outside your household. So they're sort of
Yeah.
only open for single, like individual people or people to go with their.
Or entire
families.
families, yeah, which is like,
But like you're not supposed to go. And I mean, so on one hand, I get it all. We need these things, but I understand why people get confused, and I'm a little outraged. Like I can't just like.
well, and it's also like I understand, like you said, like they're trying to walk a fine line between like not sending everyone back into like panic over a second lockdown, but
Sure.
people are gonna see, like, if I'm a family and I'm sitting at home and I'm seeing my single friends going out meeting out with people, I'm gonna be like, fuck that, why can't I do this too? And like I think they're gonna have a much harder time enforcing something like this than like a blanket ban.
It's only 2 weeks. We're
No, I
talking
know.
about
Well,
that.
And they haven't really been enforcing that much to go so
and
far
even
anyway.
did, she wasn't enforcing it any more than she did. But I also I think I was pretty offended that we had this like, we have to roll back our social gatherings about. Also, we're gonna have to shut down the party buses, and I was like, okay. I feel like those things are not on par. Like I feel like the party buses
Yeah.
and the limos and that shit. Like I'm not even talking about taxis and transportation for people, but like a literal place where you're designed to
Yeah.
congregate and drink inside of a
What did she call them? She called them some like
bitter seating.
yeah,
Perimeter-
rotunda seating or something. She's like,
Perimeter
that's a
seating.
technical term.
bitter seating,
Yeah.
but
Oh, perimeter seating. Yeah. She's like, all perimeter seating is gone. And you're like, well, fuck, I guess. So what about buses? Are they?
Well,
No buses.
because they're public transportation and there's a mask mandate on those
Yeah.
and people require it. But I was just like, how are we at the point where like, why? And like the spin class, I'm sorry, I love it. Exercise all you want. But the heavy breathing, like the hot yoga, the guy, like all that stuff, like
Oh, the yoga,
the flat earther.
the
but like
truthers,
all
yeah.
that shit seemed logically.
Yeah.
Like, the safe six seems like we could have kept the safe six if maybe we had less spin classes and party buses for a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I don't
those
know.
things shouldn't
I
have
got
fucking
that-
been.
She was just taking it because it used to be less than 50 people could congregate. So I thought it was something like that. I didn't know that you weren't allowed to have your safe six anymore.
Also, you
Today.
only if you're in Fraser Health or Vancouver Coastal, which is most of us, right? That's like
Yeah.
3.7 million people or whatever. So like you're not even supposed to go in or out of like Fraser Health and Vancouver Coastal Health are not supposed to go in or out of other health authorities, and people are not supposed to come into our health authority. So all that shit's happening. But yeah, like really technically speaking, like we are not supposed to be in the same house together, which I get to some degree, but like,
Yeah.
and like my kids go and my one daughter sits for 30 hours a week next to the kid next door, but then when we come home, they're not supposed to hang out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I understand it all, but it just gets, I understand also how people are like,
so fuzzy.
and I get how people justify this and justify that, or like how things get confused because it's so confusing and so
Mhm.
not mitigated.
But 2 weeks, we just gotta see what happens.
Well, the other thing is that like
Go anywhere anyway.
they
So-
do it for 2 weeks. We're not gonna, there's gonna be like 10 to 14 days after that before we see if that 2 weeks had any sort of
Yes.
effect. So how are they just gonna do it for the 2 weeks and then be like,
They're
okay,
not,
it was a success?
they're just
Yeah.
easing us in.
We still don't have all the Halloween numbers yet either. Like all those people on Granville Street, like
only
those
a week
cases
and-
are still going to show up too.
Yeah. Well,
I feel-
that's, and the other thing is like Diwali comes in a week. And so I'm thinking like part of it is to try, because that's like 5 days of celebration. And there's a lot of like, you know, gathering and things that happen. And so that will cover part of that. And so hopefully some people that would normally have bigger things will take that into account. But I mean, the same shit that happened on Halloween is going to happen in any sort of event. Christmas,
Yeah.
freaking religious ceremonies of any kind. People are just going to whatever, but
I think this is their
And, like,
way.
the old people just like risk it. They're like, you know what? I'd rather risk
Well, yeah,
it
I
and
know,
die than be
Yeah.
alone till I die. Yeah.
everyone's like, that's it. Like, ugh. But
It does feel like this is their kind of way of like easing us into like, Christmas is probably going to be more of you alone in your house and less
Yeah.
you getting
and I
together
mean,
with
like
family.
you tweeted that thing yesterday about like you're not a COVID truther, but like
Yeah. Well, and
where are we at with this? Because I mean, I do like my dad's like bummed out and like people are alone, and then like at some point like we can't overwhelm the medical system, and there's a lot of shit to it, but like I don't know, because not ever doing anything and like closing this and closing that and like taking all the kids' recreation away and doing all that shit. Like at some point I was like, well, okay, we're doing all of this so that we stay alive, but the life that we're living is kind of a bummer.
yeah, it 100% is. And I think like, I sent this like tweet storm yesterday about how like, I want to make it clear I'm not a COVID truther. I do not think this is some like exercising government mind control.
And I don't think that your thing came off that way.
Yeah, but like, yeah, at the beginning when they put these restrictions in, it was ostensibly to make sure that our healthcare system wasn't overwhelmed by COVID, which makes sense as it was in other places. And then since then, you look at like case counts in the US, which are like fucking ludicrously high, like what, 130,000 people in one day or something?
Yeah,
and like,
Yeah, close to that.
they've been smashing records with new cases basically
pretty
every
much.
day
Yeah.
for like the past 4 months. And
Mhm.
despite that, like, yeah, you're starting to see some places be impacted and hit pretty hard, but like overall, they've managed it okay. And like we were not hit particularly hard early on. And even in addition to that, our hospitals were able to like cancel a lot of elective surgeries and like free up extra beds for people. And they basically maintain that. So like, are we still operating in
Same
like,
assumption.
yeah, like with the same assumption that like, okay, we don't want to overwhelm our health system, or is it like, oh my God, like we see cases are on the rise and that just strikes fear in our hearts and we got to like lock everything down right away?
Well, and like I have no actual knowledge or anything, but like I think like remember we had like Italy was like so terrifying and everyone was like, oh my God, they're being decimated, and then they just sort of like came out of it. And New York was like that. And so I had this thing like a while ago, I was like, the US is gonna do this like with Trump and just be like, oh my God, but they're gonna like fizzle out. And then when they'll be fizzled out, and we'll also be fucking catching up, and then they're gonna fucking sweep in and make America great again or whatever, because
Yeah.
honestly, like, and the collateral damage of it, right? So the collateral damage of their approach is not small. Like there's a lot of people that have lost their lives and there's a lot of things that have happened. So it's not to be taken lightly. It's just that like at the end of the day, when like history looks back on this, like in 100 years, if we haven't already exploded the planet or if we're living on Mars or whatever, are they going to be like, well, many people question the US's approach, but in the end, like
they were right.
It just sort of like pushed them through it. And I don't know. I mean, fuck, who knows?
Well, yeah, and
But
Brandee, you made a comment about how like vaccine might just never ever come, and like if reality is that we all eventually get exposed to this thing, because if this virus can fucking hop to a mink and then back to us, or we're only immune for like 2 months after we get it,
right. I mean, it's like the common cold. You'll just get it.
yeah. And then I think at that point, that's when we gotta start thinking like,
I mean, we just like this has been a year and it's been hard and long, but like you're telling me that 2 more years from now, this is still it's not. This isn't. People aren't going to do this forever. Like,
oh fuck, no.
whether it's necessary or not, whether our healthcare, like whether any of it, people just will reach a capacity where they won't, or they can't, or they adjust. Right.
I'm pretty sure we're close to that capacity anyway. And the other thing too is like when this first started, like the death rate from like getting over COVID or dying from it was 12%. Like across the board, and now it's down to 3%. So we're making headway. Like Derek said, we're treating it better, and you're going to see an initial burst of, unfortunately, deaths at the beginning, because that's when all the people with chronic disease and stuff who get it just die off. And now you're going to see like young people who are still healthier, and even older people who are healthy getting it but getting over it. So I think it's like, I don't know, it's like you don't want to go too drastic, but then again, you don't want to open it right up. And it's like, I don't think we'd overwhelm the hospital beds and the medical infrastructure at this point anyway. So I don't think they should close things up anymore than they have. Like, I think right now, the way they have it is perfect. Like before Bonny Henry made these other like closed down.
I mean, I get what she's doing. Part of it is optics, right? It's exponential now and it's scary. But like also, if you can use a calculator and you do the math, like still like less than 1% of the population is infected. And like I say all this, like I'm fucking terrified every time one of my kids goes like, or like I'm like, oh God! Like the fucking world is like
spraying bleach in their face.
I am terrified. Like I am not even trying to play like with it. I don't want to deal with it. Like we have had, Andrew had a cold, Nola had a cold, Everly had 2 colds. We've had COVID tests for all of them. Like it's fucking shitty and it's scary. But then like sometimes I'm like, what if I knew how many people got like the common cold and bronchitis and strep throat and the flu and norovirus like every day? Like what if every day they were like 17 people who got norovirus? There was an outbreak of norovirus. Like that would bother everybody. And so like, will it just fade into one of those things? Like it might, because if we don't have, there's 0 vaccines for this kind of illness. It's the common cold, but like on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I've heard, like you said before, like I've heard that they can't even make a vaccine for it. And that's all just like wishful thinking, because it's like the flu. Like, I guess you could get a flu shot.
You have to have it like multiple times in a year or something.
So part of the problem with the kind of vaccine, the reason that we don't have one against like these specific viruses is in the most parts they're common colds that people get over. And so a lot of resources haven't been focused in solving that problem because it hasn't been an issue. And now it's become an issue, but in general, like there hasn't been a lot of research and we haven't had a lot of luck with that. The reason there aren't vaccines for certain things that suck are because you can't, whereas the flu, they've managed to do it, right? And so maybe like there's lots of different things going on and maybe they crack the code and that would be great. But like realistically, even if they did, even if tomorrow they were like, we found the one and it's fine and everyone is vaccinated and it doesn't make anybody like mental or have any problems or anything go wrong, it would still take 3 more years.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? They say. So just survive it.
Let's try. Yeah. A nice thing I like to do for perspective is like BC's sizable-ish. Like we have 5 million people that live here. But our case count that caused everyone to freak out and like lock the fuck down was 500 a day. U.S. state with the comparable size of BC is South Carolina, where they have about 5 million people as well. And they've been dealing with an average of at least 1,000 cases a day since July, when it was 2,000 cases a day. And I don't, so it's nice to like, yeah, these numbers might seem like big and scary to us compared to what we've had before, but you know.
Love when Adrian Dix tries to be like, but in Paris, and then people are like, I crunched all the numbers. And if you take the demographics and the population density triangulated by the people on the healthcare system, it determined that times 5 we were doing 15% worse. I'm like, okay, like if that's what you need to fuel your fire,
To tell you, yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, per capita seems like a good enough measure for me.
That's a really good, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
fair metric.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're coming up on well, we've gone over an hour.
Yeah, we're
is
at
there
about
anything else?
70 minutes. Did we want to talk? We got to talk about this flat earther guy who
Well,
went.
Brandee alluded to him.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'll just explain quickly. I just wanted to talk about it because there's a guy from Vancouver who went to Flattoberfest in the States.
Which, thank you, internet, for
Yeah.
that was also a great nugget of information to learn.
Which is good.
That this exists, yeah.
I mean, I guess if someone is dumb enough to believe that the earth is flat, they're also going to be dumb enough to be a COVID truther. So he doesn't think that COVID is real. So he came back from the States and he's here in Vancouver. And then he was caught on film outside the Vancouver Art Gallery for some dumb COVID
It was
like
at the fucking anti-mask
thing.
rally.
Yeah.
Stupid bullshit thing.
And he was on video bragging about how he just got back to the States and he wasn't doing lockdown. And then he got charged for 3 counts of breaking it. Yeah, because he did it 3 times. So
That guy also lost his yoga studio in that's the guy he lost his yoga studio in April or May,
Yeah.
because he told everybody that he did hot yoga and that the virus couldn't survive in the heat of the yoga studio and that they should do hot yoga together. Which
If only the answer to COVID was yoga.
hot yoga, yoga would be fucking rocket.
But have you ever done hot yoga? That's so
Yeah,
hard.
we'd be at Whole Foods with our Poppies
Fuck it.
doing hot yoga, not eating out of the hot bar. But anyway,
Yeah.
he lost his whole yoga studio. It's been closed down since then because he told,
the best.
he literally was like, come to yoga and you will be cured of COVID because the
Yeah.
virus isn't live. And people were like, yeah. Anyways, so I mean, I think that guy should get more than a fine, like house arrest.
Yeah.
Or
And
like
the
a
cra-
partial
yeah.
lobotomy, or just not being allowed
Partial.
to congregate with the general population.
Brandee, it sounds like he's already had a partial lobotomy.
Yeah.
It's the other part, so that he can
Yeah. The dumb part that's making him go on camera. And
Well,
another thing too is
not feel
that's how he got
obligated.
busted was he went on camera. So it's are they going to be able to enforce all these other things?
That's the attention. He's riding his 15 minutes. He's going to
Yeah.
take it all the way to the end, which is probably him getting COVID. Maybe
And yeah, COVID in prison.
Yeah.
A lot of
let him have his
COVID.
15, whatever, it'll fizzle out.
Yeah, his 15 glorious infamous minutes, I guess.
Why would you squander them on being a fucking moron though? We all get our 15
Because
minutes.
you're a fucking moron.
Well, all right.
Because
Always
thing
a
ab-
moron,
yeah.
always a moron.
the thing about being a moron is other morons love you and they just
Love you.
shower you with
That's true.
affection. So if you are a person who needs attention from, and you don't care where you get it from, you could always appeal to the morons. I mean, look how close it got Trump to being elected again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair.
Yeah,
And he was already president once before, so.
yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online, explain why they're dumb for caring. An extra special thanks to our special guests, Brandee and Candice. Thanks for taking the time out of, spending your last evening together in our presence and with our listeners.
I'm honored you chose to spend it with us, even though you agreed to do this before you knew it would be your last evening.
But we're going to be seeing a lot of our families, so we don't need it to be with them.
Picnic table just out there. There's 2 picnic tables out there, which is where we started the COVID adventure when they shut us
Nice.
all down. And so we can each have our own picnic table and be very far apart. So
Yeah, weather's gonna be getting pretty shitty pretty soon. So good. Hope you have umbrellas.
Not the rest of
we're
Canada
very
shitty
committed
though.
to not murdering everybody else that we know. So
Yeah.
Cool.
right. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
anytime.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you on the internet, or would you rather not do that?
Love your cake.
All right.
Cakes, Twitter, Instagram.
I'm at Miss You Do You.
If you're watching this, you probably
Also, yeah, you're in the circle already.
Yeah.
I am Derek. You can find me on the Twitter machine at Herder.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot.
If you like our podcast a little bit, head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a rating. If you like it a medium bit, please give us a review. And if you like it a lot, head on over to our Patreon, which I still have not finished setting up from our last episode.
Surprise.
And give us money. It'll be at patreon.com/Outrage Factory.
We're also on Spotify if you're more of a streamer person type of deal. And we're also on YouTube at Outrage Factory. Yeah, just Outrage Factory on YouTube. And I think that's it.
That's it. Until next week.
Stay angry.
Always.
Always angry.
Bye.